to you, everyone who's watching.
Hello.
All, I don't know how many of you. Maybe there's a million.
We got a whole 10 views each
Oh, we've had
week.
10 first week, 10 the second week. We're staying consistent.
We are staying consistent. Look at us. Oh, it's us in the background.
Oh, well, you're one of them. So, really, Anyway,
9.
this is Surviving Australia. We are recapping Survivor, Australian version, every week. Three huge episodes that go on every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night. And then we get together and have a little bit of chat about it. We're doing this on what is it, a Wednesday
Wednesday.
afternoon?
We can do it on a Wednesday.
Sure.
Yeah. Hump day. You're bored. You don't want to do any work. Come on. Just flick it. Put us in the corner and catch up on Survivor because you have a life and you don't need to sit there and watch 86 episodes.
We're nine down. Nine down. That means we've
Cool,
got another.
cool. There's only like 75, 76,
Was it
78,
the
7 to
line
go.
that said it was 87 episodes?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't know why that would be a plus for anybody. But you know what we should do? We should figure out how many episodes the other on average do because I'm sure that certain other shows, including people marrying people not knowing who they are at least 2,000 episodes. I'm pretty sure.
2000, yeah.
um, hey, Mick, I've got a question for you.
Oh, yes.
Hey, where's George from?
Oh, no. Is it Blacktown? Is it other town? Castletown. Yeah, no. Well, it's a big thing. Apparently, it's hard to live in Bankstown. I don't know.
When you've got your fellow contestants agreeing with you, brutal. I didn't think Blacktown was that bad, but apparently so.
Nah, it's fine. I know people live out there that way. It's not
Same.
bad.
Yeah,
I don't know what my people are saying it's so hard. It's actually literally probably, I don't know, 20 minutes drive from where I live. So it's not that far.
yeah. It's not like I'm not going to offend anyone by comparing it to anything else, but it isn't that far out of town. It's got a damn good sports centre out there as well. That's where all the finals are held. So, mate.
Good to know.
Anyway,
We should go back to Sunday night.
yeah, because Sunday was touted as a big episode. Survivor Sunday, hashtag Survivor Sunday. That's what they're calling it. Yeah, so Kara, of course, this is following on from Kara being ousted.
Oh yeah, so Kara, that's right. She didn't get punted, or she did get voted out, but she didn't have to leave. She jumped over to the Brawn tribe, and then get this: the first thing they do is they show her jumping on top of everyone as they're trying to sleep. I mean, that's a great way to endear yourself to your friggin'
Honestly,
tribe.
like something's jumping on me in the middle of the outback. I'm not.
Oh, settle down, G. Settle down.
No, I'm just saying, like, wouldn't you be shitting your pants? Like, what?
Oh, exactly. Oh,
I'm up and out.
I thought you were talking about something else.
No, I'm talking about, hello, it's the outback where there are things that kill you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd be concerned.
What time do you reckon they go to bed in Survivor Camp? Like the sun would go down at like I don't know because it's probably in summer, so they're probably going to bed at like 8 o'clock, maybe.
Yeah, probably. And then they probably wake. But I can't believe like they don't have beds. Like, are we aware of the fact that they don't sleep on a bed?
Of course, they're living on the ground, and they just use it like packs as pillows and stuff. Like they don't have
Nick,
pillows.
could you have lived like I could just have like killed somebody for it to sleep on top of them?
Well, you see how they all sleep, right? They're all spooning each other pretty much. Like they're all under one big these big blankets, just like huddled up. It must be
But
so hot.
I honestly reckon that's like, and I don't want to skip ahead, but well, yeah, big. I'm going to say Big D is one of the people that goes in the next episode, and I swear to God, he didn't care because he's like, I just want to go home to Mama and go to bed. Like, I don't think he cared. But anyway, Kara comes back, she jumps on them. What happens after that?
Well, she's trying to endear herself to the old Brawn tribe, trying to say that this is where I was meant to be all along. Brains are all like obviously oblivious at that point. They just thought they voted out Kara, and they're like, job done.
Can we all just agree at this point that the brains and the brawn tribes are just like, is it nominal? Is that the word? Like, they don't mean they don't mean a thing. No one's that smart, and maybe those guys are kind of strong, but that's
But there probably is less brains in the Brawn tribe. Like when you look at some of
I
them,
believe so. But who's been a happier tribe in general?
because they haven't got the
Exactly.
brains to think about it.
Exactly. I like, oh, me sleep on ground. Okay. So like who said that like who said that it's all amazing being that smart? um so yeah, so they didn't know, obviously a big surprise that that Kara got saved. I wonder, well, I'll make a comment at the end, but I do wonder why Kara was saved. Do you think it was because they thought George was going to go? They must have known.
I thought they were going to try and save George. And
Yeah.
they were surprised when Cara was one voted out. But I suppose they can't pull the thing out. You know, like they can't just change it last second and go, oh, we don't want to save Cara. So in the end, I don't know. I don't know if producers are that
I
corrupt.
don't
But I always
know. Oh,
assume they are. You know?
they are, but I just don't know if they would have had all that kind of information to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, unusual, very unusual.
So we get to the reward challenge on Sunday night, which was holding buckets of water, like huge buckets of water.
Yeah.
Were weighted to like a percentage of your body weight, which I really like this because it makes everyone quite even. Because you're a big guy, you're carrying a big weight, you feel a little person carrying a little weight. But I was surprised how well the brains did in this challenge.
Wait, sorry. They measured it up to what you weighed.
Yeah, exactly. The water that's in the bucket is a percentage of your body weight, so everyone's
Okay, that's actually pretty
percentage.
good. Yeah. So what was Shannon's like a kg? Oh, I know I made a comment. I don't like to comment on women's weight at all, anyone's weight, but she was, I was actually like, this is looking a bit dangerous, to be honest, how thin she was looking.
She is, and actually, you can already start. They've been out there like 15, 16 days, and you can already see people are starting to lose weight. Like even
Oh, God. Oh, 100%. Well, people that, oh, yeah. So, yeah, so you would find people at the higher end and people who are probably used to slimming down. Like, so Shannon and Gerald, both those two probably are the ones that are going to lose it quickly. But there's a couple that I'm kind of like, have you been secretly snacking on Tim Tams? Because that weight's not coming off.
I've seen people who want to go and survive just so they can lose weight.
That's what I want to do. It's my plan for losing excess weight is to go on Survivor. I'm just waiting for the call up, guys. I'm only going to last not that long because the bed situation is problematic. But the weight thing, huh? I must have played Australian once, and I played New Zealand once as well. Guys, I'd be amazing for a couple of weeks. And then I'd be, because I don't want to, well, I'm alluding to what happened in last night's show, but, and I made a comment on this too, from people who've worked on the show, medics and stuff, I mean, TMI, but man, like the chicks get thrush like all the time. Like, you laugh, but it's horrendous. The guy, like, there's like just all the funguses, all that, they stink, they smell. It is seriously unhealthy. What actually happens on the show. It's great. That's why I kind of look at them at Tribal Council when they've tidied up a little bit, and I'm like, really? But they are seriously stinky when they are. Yeah, 100%.
And they're only swimming in these rivers, like these dirty rivers.
And they can't be that clean.
They're cleaning the pot right here, and then there's people swimming like 2 meters away.
Thinking about day 3, I'd be like, "Sus, guys, I'm getting in the water and I'm having a bath." Yeah, so Kara comes back. We've got a long way to go, Mick. Let's get through this. We're still in Kara.
No, I'm
crapping on.
Anyway, the big bucket challenge happened, and Brains finally won their first reward challenge.
Surprising, but let down by Big G Dog there. G Dog let them down, which is surprising. But it did lead to.
Imagine how much he was carrying. Like that.
Yeah.
And he was holding the 2 with one hand as well. So bloody hell, mate.
Yeah.
Like, you've got 2 hands just for a reason.
Well, I am surprised that he was the first one to go, actually, because. he's the one that let it go.
Oh, he's the one who dropped the bucket. But people
Yeah,
were
sorry, he wasn't the one who. Obviously, other people sat down pretty quickly. Like not quickly, they were there for hours. It was very impressive. Yeah. So yeah, Gerald having to let the buckets drop. That was I was surprised. Very surprised.
So
Yeah.
Brains got the reward, which was
Mhm.
remind me what it was. Was it barbecue? Was it barbecue?
The barbecue. I've never seen someone excited so excited about a barbecue.
Well, the thing was,
Oh,
I was sure there was going to be a clue in the barbecue
yes,
package, and
yes.
the camera didn't point at anything. No one looked for anything. It was like nothing. But then at the immunity challenge, they were like, Jonathan was like, "Oh, by the way, there's an idol on the course." I bet you that they were supposed to find the clue in the reward challenge, so the person who found the clue could go and find it. Don't you reckon? Instead of just
That
jumping in,
actually is not a bad shout, although yeah, that's actually not a bad shout. But it turned out to be a pretty brilliant move by the producers because
it was a scramble. Like so, they turned
oh
every
man,
team immunity challenge, and the first one to break was George. He just runs into this like big logo and starts.
it wasn't even like it wasn't even a thought process. It was just like, oh, I can go now. Okay, like it was. Oh, I'm gonna let my team down. I'm gonna be. It's gonna be. you know, this is a problem. I'm gonna because if you didn't see it, you had to. The team couldn't move until you had done your bit. So you going off and looking for the idol was stuffing your team. But of course, Gerald feeling like he was in chopping block, which I don't know why he thought that. He
Block, get it? Chopping block. Sorry.
he's had a huge effort. He's a lovely guy, as it appears. He thinks he's threatened, so he runs off to get it. But the third player that is unbelievable, and I actually thought I was really surprised that. I mean, it showed the confidence of the Brawn team that they were going to win because they weren't really that phased, except for Gerald, who was freaking out. But like, then Haley gets in there and goes for the. Oh my gosh!
So these 3 episodes, this third week, have really shown what Haley's all about. And that's like
No,
she's all of a
she
sudden
is.
Yeah.
Well, she did the research, you know, and she did and it now shows that knowing the show is like, you know,
What she's done is
yeah.
not only is she like a power player now, she's had the idol, she's tricked her
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit, but she's proving that she can play the game, and that's so important when it gets to the end. If you get to the end and you show that you've played the game really
People
well,
respect that, yeah.
So
I and even if she doesn't get the vote, she gets that vote. She doesn't get the vote of the team. The public will vote for it. She is incredibly popular in the public with what she's been doing, because she's not been too arrogant about it. She's like, I've done the research, I've done the work, I'm playing the game, and yeah, I'm in it to win it, pretty much.
Yeah, she's playing really smart now. We'll get to what she did last
Really
night.
smart. Yeah, yeah.
The first night was a little bit of a blindside in that all of a sudden we found out that maybe Joey is the one going to go. And I was pretty surprised
Were you?
I was pretty surprised they threw Joey under the bus this early because I thought they still needed him for challenge.
Oh, he's been great, and to keep Andrew over Joey, but I just think Joey was just getting too cocky and confident.
Yeah, he was trying to do the old Luke Tocky
You've
yeah,
but Luke Tocky was likable.
Yeah, true. You don't like
It was actually, I loved Luke. I thought he was awesome. Joey, I appreciated what he was doing. I thought he was a good player, but he was more, I think, trying to emulate the old Golden God. If I'm correct, old David. I believe it was more like that, but because Joey was just that. Luke was never arrogant. Luke was completely lovable, but Joey I liked him, but he was just starting to get a bit cocky. And I think if it came down to Joey versus George, you know, George is just so much of a character. You're going to be hesitant to get rid of him as a producer, as an audience. Yeah.
George is surviving with him and his Macedonian Jesus. He's surviving everything.
To be fair, how is he still on the show? Really? Really? Like,
you know, he's gonna stick around because he's not a threat, like basically later. So when they do,
no, he's made himself not a threat in the game because he's been saved by women.
And he's just latching on to different people. Like one episode he'll be like, oh, I hate Rachel, and Rachel will vote with him, and they go, oh, I love Rachel, and then they're like, no, I hate Rachel again.
I hate you. I love him. I hate him. I love him. no,
this
I'm
one,
quoting Gwyneth Paltrow and Emma. I was just quoting
I
that.
have no idea what you're talking about, but
I
sure.
love John. I hate John. It's a classic for people that are into that. Okay. This is what we need to pop up and go, I have John. Future. Leveling up. Okay.
So we go to Monday night. Of course, it's time to drop the buffs. Very, very early on in the episode.
Yeah, really early for a tribe swap. Really early.
But how does this work? So they've got 2 trays of buffs, and Jonathan's handing them around. And somehow, after the
Miraculously.
opens their new buffs up, it's perfectly split. 5 brawn on each side, 4 brains on each side. How did that work? It could have gone that somehow it landed exactly half. It was a fluke, but it was the same.
I just want to play you a song, and this is why. Oh, maybe it won't work. Maybe it's not going to work for me.
Have changed.
It's not. That's wrong. We'll get there. This. Like I said, like the song that I'm trying to play. Anything goes. Anything goes. Just like in this recap, just like on the show, the producers are like going, here, you have an idol, you have immunity, you don't go, you get, oh my God. Like, it's like they've taken all the Smarties and thrown them in the bowl and shaken it up and gone, no, actually, you're going to have M&Ms. That. Yeah.
I think the producers in Australian Survivor are more willing to just like change shit up, constantly, and give hand idols out like willy nilly. So I think Laura.
Yes.
George is like sneaking around, like trying to.
Oh, now that is actually what I'm going to go back talk about before with George. 2 things. Stop creeping up on women. But to be fair, why don't more people do that on the show? And the second one is him and Way's relationship is pretty toxic, and I don't enjoy it. Way I find it uncomfortable, and I think it's a little bit wrong. But anyway, yeah. He's so mean to her because this one time she wasn't loyal to him.
I think George is very, very quick to change it.
I'm sorry. What is his job again?
Exactly. He'll say whatever he needs to say, whatever he wants, and he doesn't mean it.
I don't think there's a lot of brains. It's definitely a lot of heart and a lot of luck. And ultimately, it's actually his heart that's getting him through because people like Cara have saved him, So anyway, it's not all about George, but it's a lot about George. Monday night.
Okay, we're going to talk about how dumb the Brawn members were. So we're talking about the people who are on.
Yeah, so the half an hour of the show that's not in the tribal council is the same old usual. Brawn win, Brawn and then Brawn goes to tribal council for the first time in a long time.
Well, no, this is Brawn. Is this Brawn 2.0 or I'm trying to work out which.
Brawn 2.0 goes to tribal council because they didn't even do an award challenge on Monday, which I thought was brutal because they did the whole drop the buff thing.
So yeah, that's right. There's 6.
Thank God.
6 Brawns in this group because Cara is now apparently part of the Brawn.
Yes.
And they all got together and said, okay, 3 votes on Rachel, 3 votes on George. And it was so obvious.
Well, hang on, that's right. But in the end, it was 2, 2, and 1. So someone must have flipped.
So you saw it, didn't you? So basically, it was so they said it 3 or 4 times.
I know.
George was like, you vote for Rachel, you 3 vote for Rachel, you 3 vote for Georgia. Then it's tied. Then we all have to vote for one. Then we all vote for Rachel. It was all so obvious, and they did it over and over again. You could hear that little funny survival.
Well, I didn't. I was like, Simon or Big D. Which one of you is going to stuff it up? Which one?
It was Cara who stuffed it up. This is the dumb thing. The one who was not even really a member of the Brawn tribe. She's the one who wrote down Laura for some stupid reason.
Well, and so we should also point out the reason that they were sitting pretty is because they only had of the Brains team Rachel, Laura, and Georgia, who I'm not a fan of. Just want to put it out there. They put it So they should have had a clear majority, but they knew Laura had an idol, so they couldn't just vote out Laura at all or one of them at all because they didn't know how they were gonna. They didn't do the hot potato thing though, which I thought was a disappointment because the hot potato was fun. So yeah, but no. So this is the thing I don't understand. So count up who voted for who in the end.
I think it was like Emmett, Big D, and who else was it?
Kez, Slick, Kez,
Gerald.
Yep.
I was supposed to vote for Rachel, and then
Yep.
Kez, Cara, and George were going to vote for George, or something like that. So in the end,
Yeah.
Big D, Emmett, and Gerald, they all voted for the right people. Kez and George, they voted for the right people, but Cara, for some weird reason, didn't vote for the person she was supposed to vote for. She voted for Laura, who wasn't even mentioned as someone to vote for.
Bizarre
Because the
mistake.
was that Laura was going to give her idol to either George or Laura.
Exactly. So here's my thing that I don't understand is that Big D would have got the 3 votes from the girls, yeah, from Georgia, Cara, Georgia,
Yep,
Laura,
Big
and
D, yep.
sure, but they still should have still had been 3 votes for one of the other 2 girls. So how did it end up that Big D went? Because I actually did miss the end of the trial. I only saw the ending.
I'm trying to work out the numbers now. What was it?
That's what I thought. Someone must have flipped.
No, sorry. So Rachel got 3 votes, but her votes didn't count because Laura gave her idol to Rachel. And Georgia only got 2 votes, and Big D got 3. So Big D.
Right, so that's how it happened. Thank you for
Sorry,
saying. Oh my goodness.
It's pretty unlucky for Big D because
Yeah.
she could have given her idol to Georgia, but Georgia was saying, "Don't give it to me, don't give it to me, don't give it to me," and so she didn't. She gave it to Rachel instead. It was, yeah, I think it was quite clever from Laura to do that because they didn't know.
Wow.
And to get rid of Big D was a huge thing.
Well, I mean, again, not a fan of Big D in real life at all, but on the show, fantastic. Much like Benny. Oh my God, go check out Benny if you want to see what an idiot looks like. That I told you, Mick. Did I not say to you? It is odd that Benny is not getting any airtime. Did I not say?
You were right,
and I said he's done something.
They don't want Benny's profile to be shown. They don't, they barely showed anything of him, and he got punted. That was it. So yeah, you're right. You're right.
I know mushes. That's all I want to say. If anything comes out of doing these recaps, I just want people to know that I said it. Okay?
I didn't think it with Big D though, and the thing is, they all love Big D on the show, but outside of Survivor, he seems like a bit of a douche. So I don't know.
Look, it's easy to get caught up in the current situation, so I'm just hoping that there's somewhat redeemable, and he's just a little bit uneducated. But
you won't have to call him the big douche.
well, we'll see. And also, he just didn't really care. He wanted to go home. He just was like, "See ya." He was out. He's like, "I'm not making it. I'm not making it for $500,000. Forget about it." I got all these ladies DMing me back home. Give me back my phone. I'm out. I'm gonna go bang something. We should follow. I'm going to follow him on Instagram. Okay, so that was Big D goes home. It was a big blunder. God, that was stupid. And Laura survives. Those girls survive again. And honestly, can I say, Rachel, what was her justification? Oh, Big D can only push things around. How is that helpful?
Well, he's not that great at everything else, to be honest. So,
yeah, but what are you good at, Rachel? Giving everyone half-hearted, inspiring speeches before you go out? She needs to. Anyway.
All right, into the huge last night's episode, I think was.
Usually, since my battery is going to die on my computer, so let's go.
Last night's episode, I reckon, was one of the best episodes of the season.
Oh my God, this is when I die. You just carry on without me if it doesn't work anymore. Just carry on without me, mate.
I was going to talk about how the immunity challenge. The immunity challenge last night was about 2 people from each team. It was an individual immunity, and 2 people from each team are going to get immune for the double trouble council. Like, I reckon that was a cool idea. And it was the way they structured it was that you had to either help people through this maze to get to the end to throw the bags on, or you'd have to, or you could just go it yourself, race through it, and then try and get in there before everyone. Who was like 2 people did that. So Baden and Simon both cut through early. It didn't help everyone with all the challenges. Cut through early and just started throwing bags up, trying to get in there. Neither of them got immunity at all because they
Yeah.
and sucked into the karma, bitten them.
Good.
Whereas
Good.
the other team, like the new version of the Brains team, even with Emmett on it, even with Gerald on it, they were all helping each other. They got through it all together. They got to the end together, and it felt like they were just really genuinely enjoying each other's like successes. Although, having said that, when Way won immunity, which is amazing that Way won an immunity at all, Simon was the first to give her a big hug and like celebrated her. So I thought that was quite nice. But I never know Simon. I feel like
because they are pretty. Well, look, I'm actually a bit of a Simon fan, but with Way, they actually do, because you would have seen in the other challenges when they're having trouble, they were really supportive to the people that were struggling, as you should be. But I felt that the Brawn actually genuinely meant it, so there is some niceness in there for that team. Don't like Danny. Danny's the exception. She is not coming off very well at all. At all.
And she thinks she's like the bomb. Like she thinks she's calling the shots. She thinks she's not really doing anything.
Hasn't done much yet, but my suspicion is that she will come into the forefront probably pretty soon. I don't think she'll go all the way, but pretty soon I think she's going to have to sort of, start. I mean, it's been all about Hayley this week, but just conscious of my battery mix. So can you explain to me how... So Way and Emmett and Andrew and Rachel won immunity?
Yeah, 3 Brains, 1 Brawn. Emmett was hanging out with these 3 and they're all sort of sharing a few little secrets. Emmett's one of these swing guys now. I think now that he's attached to Simon, he's a bit dopey, that. But he's also like, I think he'll just sort of move into another group now.
Can I just say, Emmett... he cracked me. He cracked me last night. My composure was gone. He was such a Womano v Womano. You are the big douche, mate. You can have Big D, not for your penis. Everyone's saying thank you for wearing those yellow lycra pants every time at a challenge. May they forever be burnt. He's the kind of guy that would frame those as well. I bet he's going to frame. He's framed them. They're up on his wall. I bet. Gross. He's a gross douchebag. But he's been.
Yeah. The big thing that we'll find out later because we're going to rush through it because we're going to get a big double trouble, which went from friggin' 40 minutes.
Ridiculous.
So long. And it annoys me that they spend so long on the voting. Like, we know they're going to vote. Like, watching them walk up and back and vote, it's like, come on, hurry up.
That's your problem? It's more like making sure that every single person says something is insane.
Jonathan does very well.
Fantastic. I don't know if it's him because he's been doing it for so long now or he's got good people feeding him stuff, but he knows the questions to ask and he doesn't care if it's awkward. Anyway, so they go to a double tribal.
This big thing that Hayley did was saying that she was going to play her idol for herself or for Bailey.
Yes.
Then forcing the Brawn other guys to go, oh, shy, okay, well, there's a 50-50 chance that one of us is going. So she made them eat themselves, which is so clever. She made those guys have to pick one of their own to go. And so it was Shannon was trying to call out Chelsea to get punted, whereas Simon was like, that's not going to happen. We're going to vote Shannon out.
Yeah.
So it was between Chelsea and Shannon, and obviously Simon was never going to turn on Chelsea because they're butts.
No, look, and that's one of the reasons I respect Simon because he is positive and he also he's loyal to his mates. Like, he's loyal.
Yeah, he has been. He hasn't really been on a majority yet, and he's still been loyal.
It's still surviving.
It's quite amazing.
So I did miss this. Did Hayley play her idol for someone?
So we got to the end, but the big thing before we got to that point.
Smart.
Oh no, so you're right. So she didn't. I think Baden whispers to her right at the end, right when Jonathan says if anyone has an immunity idol, Baden goes, because they knew that no one had voted for Diva. They'd all just hate themselves. That was so clever.
So if you didn't watch it, they basically took the 2 separate tribes into tribal, and then they had to go against each other. So up on the Reigns 2.0. It was who was up then?
So it was between Cara. Was it Cara?
Yes, Cara and Laura.
Laura.
Yeah. So on the Braun tribe, they managed to they put Shannon up. Well, good. Like she tried to make a play, but her obsession with Simon, honestly, I commented, I'm disappointed I get more likes this, but I was like, if this was Northies, these two would be making out. Like, what the hell? Those two
Why does she hate him so much? I can't quite work it out.
I think it's mad sexual tension. Mad sexual tension between those two. Come on, they're like, she's a model. He thinks he's a model. Like, yeah.
But she's married and obviously doesn't entertain.
Doesn't mean she didn't like still feel some burning in the loins other than the thrush.
Him out because she was like, I can't handle him.
Exactly. That wasn't just the thrush burning, Nick. It was also the vibey juices. Anyway, the vibe juices. Okay. Okay. So anyway. So Shannon's up, and then of course on the other side, it's my least favorite person, my other least favorite person, Laura. Laura gets the votes.
Yeah.
Because we thought Cara might get them.
I thought so. I thought that Cara would get punted, but no, Laura's.
No. I think Cara's too nice.
That you don't think Laura's done anything.
Yeah. I know.
Say,
I wanted to change my pick to her, but she now annoys it. To me, she's in the Mean Girls group with like Rachel, the geeky Mean Girls, Rachel, Georgia, and Laura. And like Laura does nothing but goes, okay.
Laura was on chopping block because Rachel got immunity. Georgia was out, so that's right. She was sick, so she was taken.
And guess what? Georgia's name wasn't even written down at all. No, George didn't even get his name written down once because Dr. Mitch got sent home last week.
Yeah, so it was all down to Laura and Shannon. The big decision was came
and
down
then
so
hang on a second. Hang on, you got to explain because then there was more anything goes by the producers, and then they decide that the 4 winners of the immunity have to then vote someone out.
How cool was that? I reckon that was awesome.
It actually was quite a cool twist. I did enjoy it. I mean, I just thought it was a bit dumb because it's like, oh, we're going to do all this effort to try and get rid of someone, and now we're going to save one. I didn't like that, but I did like the fact that it came down to those 4 because that's cool.
We've got to fit it into 87 episodes, T. There's only one way of doing that. That's
86. Anyway, okay. So, what then happens is, in fact,
tells them if they can't decide and they go 2 each, they're going to go to a fire challenge.
Yeah.
And it seemed like Way originally was going to side with Shannon and vote Laura and save Shannon.
Yeah.
But then when Emmett found out that Shannon was gunning for Chelsea, Emmett was like, oh, well, I don't like Shannon anymore. And he voted against Shannon. Then all of a sudden, Way flipped and just went, oh, okay, I'm voting against Shannon too.
So odd. She's like, oh, I want us to be strong and unified. See you, Shannon.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, bang, flipped over. Because Emmett didn't want Shannon in. It was almost like, oh, okay, well, I won't either.
Yeah, Way is more flip-floppy than a bloody, a Bankstown politician. But
yeah, all 4 of them ended up saving
Laura, who I still think that hasn't done anything.
It was a smart play because Shannon is pretty conniving.
Oh yeah.
She would have gone pretty far, but
she was too upset. Yeah, and she also just had eyes on Simon, and to even walk out and still be mad about it is like, I don't understand.
She actually said,
if I could have got rid of Simon,
I would have won Survivor. That would have been me.
Yeah. I suspect that my predictions, again, I'm pretty good. My predictions are that they'll bring Simon and Shannon back for a season just because that feud was so strong. And then I just think if Hayley keeps playing the way she plays, she's definitely got to come back as a fave or like it or a fan of the show. Yeah,
She's in a lot
yeah,
of posters as well.
she is. Yeah,
So yeah, we're down 3 weeks down. Looking ahead to next week, Georgia comes back, so she's obviously not that sick. And then Flick's name starts getting thrown around already in the ads, so I don't know what's happening.
to get rid of her, or because the thing is, though, like she's a strong player. Again, Flick's been pretty quiet, and if anything, she's been just a really helpful, supportive, nice person. So, yeah, I'm quite surprised by that.
Yeah, but anyway, it's been good. It's been good 3 weeks so far.
Been really good. I'm enjoying. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Cool.
But I think we should probably wrap it up.
We should wrap it up.
Nice new light. You've got new microphone. Very impressive.
Thank you. And next week, licensed music and put it here. Anyway. Okay, sure. Okay.
Bye.
Well, there you go. Bye.